Bear from Rapido Trains. I'm at our LRC factory in China. We've got some great projects being manufactured here at the moment. I'm going to show you around, so please follow me.
Okay. That was my part. Gareth!
You snooze, you lose! So welcome to the printing room. Completely full up with the 00 gauge TEA tank wagon. It's fantastic. So there are many different processes in each one of these wagons. Each one has 200 different printing processes. It's fantastic, right? Just look at it. All 00 TEA tank wagons. I love it.
What the heck is this? The whole temple room is filled with this British stuff. What is wrong with all you health and safety obsessed British kids and all the stupid writing on your freight cars?
Do you want to go outside and say that?
Yeah!
And they're wagons, not freight cars.
What is wrong with all you health and safety obsessed British kids and all the stupid writing on your freight cars?
Got that off your chest?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay, great. Here we go, this is a truck from our HO scale gondola. Typical production run might be around about 5,000 cars. That's 10,000 trucks. Each one has 2 brake shoes. That's 20,000 brake shoes. So this is the painting room at our LRC factory. The place is completely full up with N turbos at the moment. So one thing I want to talk about is the painting masks here. These are made of copper. They're ground down to incredibly fine tolerances. Each N-turbo powered dome car might have 20 different painting masks, and each is phenomenally expensive. Many people think that everything is printed, but actually quite a lot of the work is done via painting. Oh, sorry. So for example, everything you can see on this car so far has been painted. This hasn't touched the printing room. Our rusty couplers here. Unfortunately, the vendor put stainless steel trip pins on here, so this poor chap has to spend the whole day, week, month replacing it with magnetic trip pins.
We're testing every single motor here. We do first one test is RPM. So we group the motors 1 to 4 based on their RPM, so they're running together. Then, within each group, we then have to test the start voltage, whether it's 1.5 volts, 2 volts, etc. So that each turbo train has the same RPM and the same start voltage of its 2 motors. That's very, very important. If you don't have that, you can have your train fighting itself. I'll show you actually, we're testing that right now. We're testing them while they're already installed. Every train now that the motors have been installed into the Power Dome car chassis are tested to make sure they work well together. So every single Power Dome car goes through this test. I'm sitting here with Ms. Wang. You remember her from our last video in China. And every time we put a video of our factory onto YouTube, we get the usual complaints: bring these jobs back to America, these should be made in America and Canada, yada yada. Some people want them made anywhere but China. Well, I'm going to address that right now, okay? This industry of model railroading, of the super detailed model trains, was built over the last 30 years in the city of Dongguan in China. The vast majority of the world's super detailed model trains come from this city. Why? This is where the global expertise is. Now, Ms. Wang, she works as our production supervisor now. This is her second model train factory. She's been working in model trains since she was a teenager, and she's very, very experienced. She knows what to do. She's extremely good at what she does. And all the people around here, they've been making model trains since their entire working lives. All right, this is where the global expertise is. Now, the cost of labor means for us to make these in North America, apart from having to train up a bunch of people who've never made model trains before, is that you'd have to spend $500, $600 for a passenger car, $1,500 to $2,000 for a locomotive. Are you willing to do that? Or we can accept the fact that people like Ms. Wang over here know what they're doing, and we can trust them to make the world's best model trains, just like here at the LRC factory. cutting a roof on the RDC because what they call the bones, the grooves, the little ridges weren't fine enough. Recutting it here. And this is a phase 2 RDC.
Beauty.
Hey, you just said beauty. He just said beauty.
3.5 years in Canada.
What we have here are various bits of our Guy Arab Birmingham bus, our 176 scale British double-decker. These are the parts of the mold. These are the side slides of the mold. This is the mold core. As you can see, side slides in and out. You got your roof over here. It's got rivets on it now. Didn't have it on early assemble. And this is your mold core. So if on your model bus, the empty space in the middle is this, right? The plastic is injected and fills the space between the side slides, front and rear slides and roof, and this. And then you've got your body. It's called a 4-slide mold. It's the most complex mold you could have, but most model trains and buses start with one of these.
We had a great time at the LRC factory and visited one of our wonderful mold shops. Now Jason and I are going to go to Guangxi province to visit the Rapido factory, which has seen a lot of great progress since we last visited. So, Jason? Jason? Here we are at the Rapido factory in beautiful Guangxi province. I'm here with Huang and Zoe. They run the place. Last time I was here, there was nothing here. We'd only just taken over the place, and well, you can see the progress we've made since that time. I'm going to show you around, so just follow us. Okay.
Let's go.
Follow me.
No. That was me. No. Get out of here. Come on, guys. Here, we're done with you. Let's go. So the first place we'll show you in the new Rapido factory is the design department. Come on in.
Sorry about that little misunderstanding. Can I come in there?
Oh,
please?
come on.
Great.
All right. So who are we looking at here?
This is engineer, Lin.
Okay, so this is Mr. Tu, and this is Mr. Lin. So come on over here, Mr. Cameraman.
Okay, this is the General Electric B36-7, a project that's very close to my heart. We're actually working on making some samples here. These are the latest samples. You're going to have the fully illuminated samples. As you can see, if you come here close. This is the Sun Pacific example with the red emergency light, the working oscillator.
Make it 3D, eh?
Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, so he's doing a great job here. Looks like it's coming together pretty well. Should happen pretty soon, I reckon.
All right, and Mr. Lin over here is working on nothing we're not allowed to talk about. So move it away, move it away.
One of the projects they're working on at the moment is the J70 tram engine for Model Rail magazine.
Ding.
Probably,
Ding, ding.
probably one of the cutest
Ding,
models
ding.
Rapido has ever
I'm
made.
the sound decoder, eh? Ding ding.
Of course, these are made most famously known as a certain Toby from.
Can't say that. Say Tubi.
Tubi from the
That's
Reverend.
copyright, eh?
Can I say Audrey?
No, that's also copyright. Tubi by Udry.
That's.
So, Mr. British guy, how many cars do you think this little tram engine can pull?
What do you mean it's tiny? What, I don't know, 3 or 4 wagons?
Yeah, okay. Now open your eyes.
Ah.
Yeah. It'd pull more, but we ran out of samples. This is a beauty, eh? Look at this. Has no trouble at all. This is a very realistic formation, eh?
Yeah, 7 dynamometer cars.
They're making sure that it's really bang on. I have to check that speed really perfectly.
This is the Tampo printing room where all the magic happens. So the room is completely taken up with bus, Jason's bus.
I like buses, eh? Buses are great.
Each one of these buses has 70 or more Tampo printing hits at a time, so they take a long time to work their way through this room. So let's take a look.
Hele. You remember Mr. Lei because in almost every video we've done of Rapido's factory, Lei is there. Lei and I were talking today and we realized we've been working together for 10 years. It was at the old factory where we used to make our stuff before we started the Rapido factory, and then he came with us over. So he's been with us at Rapido's factory for 5 years. Here he is, doing what he does best. Come have a look at this awesome stuff. This year's the painting, well, one of the 2 painting rooms here at the Rapido factory. We actually have 2 painting rooms, and we have a total of about 6 or 7 people who do painting, right? And now we're totally doing TDC buses. It's all TDC buses in the painting room. I love it. I love it. This is the bus I rode as a kid. Whenever we show a factory video, people look at the Chinese workers who are generally 18 to 25 years old and say, "Oh my God, they've got kids there!" Ah! We don't have kids working in our factories, but we do have a kid in our factory. Okay? This is Mr. and Mrs. Lei's son, who always comes and hangs out after school. He just showed up about a few minutes ago.
你的名字是什么？雷瑟安。His name is Sean, Mr. and Mrs. Lei's son. 多大了？10岁。He's 10 years old. 你喜欢这个吗？Oh, 喜欢. He likes living here. So, Sean has now been with us at 3 different Rapido factories. And here he is, he's having a good time. 谢谢你们，非常好。
What room is this?
创办时间
What?
Assembly workshop.
Assembly workshop. Yeah, assembly workshop.
As you can see, buses and locomotive chassis have just taken over this workshop. Nice. And here's assembly workshop number 3. And more locomotive chassis.
So we hope you've enjoyed this little glimpse at the Rapido factory here in Guangxi province. Gareth and I have to head back to the LRC factory in Dongguan. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Had a great time. Bye.
Any help? Thank you.
Okay.